What's up, guys? We are back live at the MVP show here in Boca Raton, Florida at Podcast Junkeez. Shout out Big Ben. Thank you, brother. We are finally into the mix of March Madness. We have so much to discuss, so we're going to dive right into it. But first, let me introduce our co-host of the MVP show. Without this show, none of this is possible without our man, Sweiss. There you go. And you're back, buddy? Too. You were remote last time. So
drove the car all the way back from New Jersey.
Real quick, he drove an electric car back from the Northeast all the way down here. I was like, that's not a great... Yeah, that's not a smart thing to be doing. But you live and learn, right?
Car's down here. It's doing well, and now I have the... something stuck in the dashboard for my parking pass. So, always something going wrong with me.
Yeah, no, there's always something. Real quick, also... To our left of him, we're finally back to our original seatings. How do you feel over there?
We
got Mons.
A lot better.
Mons, you're
got
back,
Simon
brother.
to the right. Crack some Jewish jokes.
Perfect. You're just
Ray to the next right. Love that.
Love it. We're back to our original. And we have a special guest today. Also from Podcast Junkeez as well, which thank you, Ben, for connecting us. We have Teddy Brooks from the Sports Prophets. How you doing, brother?
Good to be here, guys. Excited for March. Been doing this for a long time, so it's a great time of year. And after this, it's kind of like a little lull for a while.
Yeah.
Well, NBA's looking better. I'm excited about NBA.
Yeah, so that's one sport I really stay away from NBA. When I first started doing this, I loved the NBA. It's become more and more difficult every year from what I've found. Back in like 2010, 11, 12, NBA was on fire. My NBA was on fire. But nowadays, for me, it's not my sport of choice.
Is college basketball your choice?
Yeah, I would say college football number 1, college basketball number 2, baseball number 3, NFL number 4. I would rank them
that far down, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baseball number 3.
I was gonna say baseball.
That's an interesting one.
Because
You got two teams on at once.
He does this all the time.
I'm a huge hat guy. I love having different hats and like cool ones. Got to have a side patch on.
Your color coordination is good though.
Right?
You have a solid Miami Mets.
No,
hey,
but
they might be getting sold. The
baseball,
Marlins, so you never know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's probably the most difficult sport to cap.
Well, it's harder than it used to be. I would say, like with starting pitching, the fact that back in the day, starting pitchers would go 6, 7, 8 innings. I mean, if they were having a good game, they weren't getting pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, with the data and injuries, and pitch counts, where you have a starter pitcher, great game, gets pulled after 4 innings. So that makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Before, when you could just focus on starting pitching and go all in on that, it was the easiest. It was number 1, not number 3.
No, yeah, I mean,
now I've moved it to number 3 because of that.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know. It's March Madness. I don't want to waste time on baseball, but I feel like just in other sports, it's difficult to see like how quickly a collapse can happen. But like you go back to the 5th inning of what was that, Game 5 of the World Series? Like Yankees had or the Dodgers had no one on base, 2 outs, down 5-0. They ended up tying the game that inning and ultimately winning the game to win the World Series because of Aaron Judge's one error that started it all. Like, I feel like in baseball, stuff like that anything can happen, and I feel like that's why they're so, like, sharps have such a difficult time on baseball.
It could be, but then, I'll say this. Give me a sport with no time clock. Give me a sport with very minimal referee involvement, like basketball and football, where,
it's huge.
A pass interference call can tank your
the whole
bet.
game. Yep.
So take away those 2 things. I think it makes up for some of the stuff like you just mentioned right there.
Nice.
That's not a bad analogy because it's funny because I talked to my buddy who's in the MLB. I won't name names, but he said I think personally baseball is the hardest one to bet on. So and he's in it because he said it could just change on a drop of a dime. But you made a valid point in terms of take away the referees, officials, the time clock. It changes a lot.
It all balances out. It all balances out in the end.
Yeah. But no, let's dive a little bit into you, and then of course we'll go right into March Madness because we have a lot. But I want to start, at least get our audience and your audience as well once we connect. Is a little bit about you. When did you first start betting? Because you've been in this space for a little bit.
So I grew up in a very gambling intense family.
Oh, that's good. Good environment. Yes.
Nice.
Love that. Sick.
when I was young, when I say young, I mean 8, 9, 10 years old, 11, 12. my grandpa would watch me. My mom would take me to grandpa's house. And what would we do? Would we go to the park? No, we would go to the racetrack.
Nice.
So I grew up.
I love it.
I grew up in racetracks. I have family members. Every local casino, whether it be Coconut Creek, Hard Rock, even down to the Mardi Gras in Hallandale, Dania Highlight. I have family members that are like managers or used to be managers at all of these establishments. Plus, being that my family's from the Northeast, Pittsburgh and New Jersey, I have family that were bookies.
But you were born and raised down here.
I was born and raised
Okay.
down here,
Yep.
yeah. But it was just part of my life. So I was sneaking in. I had a fake ID when I was 15. I was going into casinos playing poker when Hard Rock Poker Room first opened. I was there. So just being in the gambling world and then starting loving sports, I was betting on sports by the time I was 16 years old. And now I'm 40, and it kind of just all meshed together for me over time. So that's essentially how I got into it. And I knew a friend of a friend who was in the industry of selling sports picks. So I put the two together, started the Sports Profits, and that's history since then.
It kind of leads into my second question. So when did you transition and make that transition into becoming a sports handicapper? Like, when did you were like, you know what, this could be a full-time thing? Like, what in between, what year was that for you?
About 15 years ago, I met someone who's in the industry, and he kind of taught me. It's all about client management, right? Because people can either pick games or they can't, or they can, figure out a way. So that can always come, but it's managing clients, which is what I see a lot of these, kind of like what you guys do, where you're purely online. It impresses me because giving someone the picks is one thing, but teaching them the strategy, the bankroll management, the emotional management. When March Madness is a perfect example. If you love a 2:00 game and you love a 4:00 game, and that's all you love, and you bet those two games, and maybe you go 1-1 and you're not satisfied, so you want that one more win.
Yep.
You don't have to bet a later game. And with what's being put with legalization now in the industry, with what you see on social media, it kind of just promotes like bet everything you can, bet every prop you can, bet every game you can. And my philosophy's always been different. My philosophy has always been take your time, make your picks, and shut it down. You don't have to be on your phone all day looking for something else to bet on. So
two questions kind of going off of that. The first being you're talking about getting the game bets in pregame, right? Do you ever do any like live betting? Have you explored that? That's something I do for NFL, but just wanted to hear kind of your perspective on that.
So I typically don't. Sometimes I'll do second half bets. I typically don't do live bets, but there will be a case if I see value or as a hedge that I will. So, if I see a team drop really early in a game and I'm really confident that team's going to come back, and then I will throw a live bet out there, maybe 1 to 3 per month, like very little.
Got it.
Little.
And going off what you were saying about, just because there's a game on, right, doesn't mean you have to bet it. We're talking about the 2:00 and the 4:00 slot. So going back to this NFL season, favorites and the overs kind of cash cows, right, for the primetime NFL games. What is your philosophy around those primetime games? Like, did you always send out a play for your clients? Like, sometimes I won't send out a play on a Monday Night Football game just because I don't see a real edge, and I'll wait till live.
Zero.
Yep.
I never, ever give out Monday or Thursday night NFL. Ever.
I love that.
There's no need, because the way I'm looking at it is, everyone wants a bet on that Monday night game. Number one, everyone's going to have an opinion on it, and everyone's going to be able to go to 20 different websites to make a decision on what they want to bet on that game. I want to look at something during the NFL season that's not the NFL game. So, for example, if it's early in the season, maybe I bet a baseball game during Monday Night Football. If it's later in the baseball season, I'm going to be betting a hockey game or a basketball game during Monday Night Football. So I never bet. I'll bet Sunday NFL, of course, but I shouldn't say never, because there's always that line. Like, I can't remember what game it was, but there was a punt total that I loved in a Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that's
little punt total action.
The interesting thing about that was, like, 80% of my clients couldn't even get it in because their book didn't have it.
Yeah.
DraftKings had it, so whoever had DraftKings was able to get it in. But yeah, I mean, once in a while, I'll bet Monday night, but very rarely.
I'll tell my clients. I told Matt when he was a client actually to start off with before he transitioned to the team. Pretend this Monday night or Thursday night game is 1 o'clock on a Sunday. You probably wouldn't even have looked at this game if it was 1 o'clock on a Sunday. So just wanted to bring that up. Glad we're on the same page.
Just
with that.
because something's on TV doesn't mean you have to bet it.
Exactly. We're on the same page.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think you just nailed it. So you're big in terms of line shopping as well, correct?
Huge in terms of line shopping.
So you're attached to several books. I know we have the Hard Rock down here, but I know are you spread
down,
across?
down here in Florida, we have to
get creative.
We have to find alternative options.
The more fun options.
Yeah. Alternative options.
That's one of my questions I have for you. I'm very well versed in the offshore space.
Okay.
What do you prefer to bet on? Do you prefer to go Hard Rock, casino, or offshore?
Yeah. So I am an licensed affiliate with multiple U.S. options, but I have no problem saying that the U.S. and I go to the SBC every year, which is like the big convention.
It's gonna be here in Lauderdale. Yeah. Where are we going?
I was in Jersey the last few years when I was there.
I'm glad it's out here now.
Me too. So here's what I'll say: I love that sports betting is legal, but the fact that these sports books have to pay all the taxes they do, it puts them in a position where profiting is a lot harder than for an offshore. So obviously they're pumping parlays out because that's what they want everyone to play. But at the same time, offshore all day, to answer your question, because you have more options, you have better lines usually, you have more flexibility with your bets. Perfect example, if I like a game and I want to play it at -2.5 and it's sitting at -3.5, my typical move would be to buy it to 3, the half a point. It's a little bit of a cheaper option. But on a lot of these sports books, you either can't move the line at all, or you have to move it a full point down to 2.5.
Yeah, and you're paying hella juice.
So you're paying more money that you don't need to be paying because you're basically paying not to push at that point. It's a waste of money the way I see it.
I even what was it called? I watch a lot of games out at the bars, and a few of my buddies will be like, "How did you tease that? How are you teasing? We can't tease that on Hard Rock." And I was like, "What do you like? Hard Rock doesn't allow same game teasers?
Same game teasers.
We also last season we got
big on the same game.
We got
teasers.
minus 110 teasers.
The book
we sent out to clients all the time.
With the book that I pump a lot, they give out teasers at -110.
I love, especially for the NFL, I love same game teasers, and you can't do it.
Nuts.
On most of these.
I've heard of different opinions on that same game teasers from like just different people in our space.
Have you ever heard of Stanford Wong?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stanford Wong has a really good guideline strategy on when to tease and when not to tease. I'm not afraid to say, or not embarrassed to say, I just follow his. I mean, I don't even know if he's still alive, but I follow his guidelines and strategies. So teasing through key numbers, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, 3 and 7.
That's what it's all about for me. And at the end of the day, the offshores have more options, but I know why the U.S. sports books don't, because they're really operating on a thin margin because of taxes, especially in certain states like New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that kind of leads into other, a couple more questions because I know we have a ton to talk
go
about.
ahead. I could talk about this stuff.
I know. So can we?
I'm actually more. I love talking about the industry in general because of what I've seen. Because I was doing this when it was purely illegal. Not what I was doing was illegal, but the act of bookmaking was illegal at the time. Now it's legal. So I've seen so many changes in the sports books and changes in the clients too.
Yeah, I was going to say, because over the past few years, too, it's starting to grow. You start seeing, platforms like Winnable and other, cappers just coming out of thin air in the past few years. And it's funny, just, talking to you, we've had several cappers as well on our show, but that have been in the industry since day one. Not that just appeared, since COVID or something out of nowhere. So it's like, who the hell are these people? Why are they claiming that they know what the hell they're talking about?
It's a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, it just means growth, right? It just means that the industry is growing. I don't really care about the cappers that are new to it. What concerns me more are the people that are new to it, and they're just looking for picks, but they really need to be learning strategy first and bankroll management, and then worry about the picks.
Well, we had Nicky Verino on our show, and we were in the same alignment. Like, you could send out 20 picks, right, and your guys take 2, and they're like doing these parlays and stupid props and other things, and they're just getting killed on it. It's crazy, and they'll like still buy your picks and like, oh, you're doing great, and maybe not even take some of your picks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy when we have clients that come on and they're like not even taking most of our picks, but they're like, you're doing a great job.
Best part, like I found these guys organically. I was a consumer, and I joined the team just with him earning his trust and whatnot, but. I was that kid, I was back home in Jersey, and he would send out 4 plays on a Sunday, and quarter unit here, half unit there, 2 units there, and I'm just max betting.
You're not
all
following
4.
the system.
I'm
right.
putting all 4 in a parlay, and he'll go 3-1, and he's like, great
And you're
day,
negative.
and I'm like, fuck. And so
You have a message Monday morning. Hey, bud, you owe me $600.
there it is. Fucking
And let me tell you something. I have clients I work with one-on-one directly that I text with every day, and even them, some of them are out of control, and I'll put a winning record together, and they won't be up what they should because they're not following the system.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the main problems I see with the consumer side of the handicapping space.
Way more important than picks, in my opinion. I mean,
100%.
picks matter, but strategy and control matters also.
So it seems like you have a grip on everything in terms of at least you being in the sports, or at least sports betting space for so long. But I have to ask you, over the time of you sports betting and being involved in the industry, you have to have an experience where maybe it was one of the worst experiences you had, whether that's a bet or a transition that was like, you know what, I'll never do that again. Whether it was a money factor, maybe it was something with clients. What would you say is your worst experience, at least working in sports betting in this industry? I know it's a generalized question. It's a big one here, but if you could think of something.
I mean, I have a lot of funny stories. I have a couple stories. I had a client one time, Asian guy. This was 10 years ago, and he said to me, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you $500 per play." He made the terms. I told him like
You were
my
sitting back.
I told him my packages and pricing, and he didn't even like. He goes, "Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay you $500." And then if you win, I'm going to pay you another $500. I'm going to keep paying you $500 per pick. But if you lose, I'm going to block your number. So I was giving him games, and he was paying me $500, and I won 5 games in a row, and he paid me $2,500. The 6th game lost, and I said to myself, "There's no way this guy."
Yeah, you just went 5-1.
There's no way this guy actually blocks my number. Sure enough, he was not lying. He blocked my number after the 6th game and the loss.
Wow.
So that's one of the funniest stories I ever had. I've
so interesting.
also had my life threatened because a guy paid me and I started off 2-2. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, I've seen it all, and I've heard it all.
Yeah, I was gonna say these people in the industry, they don't give a shit. It's very cutthroat when need be.
Yeah, no.
But pivoting off of that, what would you say is your best experience in sports betting? Whether that's a bet that you hit, or maybe that's something that has to do with the client.
I had a client, a black dude who was originally, I believe he was originally from Africa, and made him a ton of money.
You wouldn't say. No, sorry.
Made him a ton of money. Well, I mean, like born and then moved here.
Okay.
And
Cut that
he was betting with me for a while, making good money, and he actually took the money that I made him, bought an engagement ring for this girl in Africa, flew her to the States, and married her. So that's like one of the coolest stories,
Jeez.
all with the money that he won from what I gave him.
It's actually pretty badass.
It's a pretty cool story. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's definitely one of my favorites.
It's actually a lightheartening story.
But then after he did that, he was no longer a client because he used all the money for her.
Oh man.
Hey, good man.
Yeah,
better than me. We'll probably just restack it out on a parlay or something.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, babe, I can't get the engagement ring.
Absolutely not. If I'm on a heater, you never walk away from the table when you're on the heater.
That's. I had another guy. He started with like 5,000. He built it up to 20. Bought a BMW, used BMW with it. Went back down to like 2,000. Then we went on a little bit of a bad run. And when his 2,000 was gone, he was done. So, people go into this not looking the way we look at it. We look at it as we're going to be doing this forever. This is, our life. Some customers come into it. They're just looking for a quick come up, and then they stop.
Honestly, and respect to them for being able to stop.
Yeah.
Because some of them wouldn't, and ruin their lives.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all know plenty of people. I literally was talking to a guy who's literally in therapy for gambling and lost everything.
Well,
he
that
had.
goes back. That goes back to what I was talking about.
That was a wild story.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I was
Story's
talking
crazy.
about with like there's not a need. He was probably one of those guys that betting every game on his phone nonstop.
He was betting ping pong.
That's what I'm saying.
like
And
the
on
most
the Hard Rock app, you could watch it while you bet it.
correct. This man was on the Hard Rock, and he was betting not just couple hundred. He was betting 10 to 20 grand each ping pong, parlaying, doing crazy. He made 50. He was showing me his tickets, 50,000, 60,000. He won, but then all of a sudden the other tickets, 100,000. He lost his girlfriend for like 10 years. His family lost all of his money. He had to go back, get a job, and now he's in therapy. Yeah.
Like some fucking uncut gem shit.
See, he should be listening to us.
Can I have to finish the story. I have to. He randomly, after he was in therapy, he went out and he was like, I need a sign from God to see where my direction is and where I'm going to go in life. And he gets and he's just sitting out praying. No joke. His phone bings and it's a Hard Rock, $100 free play. Just put it out on anything. He's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. He goes, I'm trying to get away from the Hard Rock. He throws in $100 parlay for like a 14 leg or something crazy. He studied it. The guy's not an idiot, but he's just a compulsive degen. And he threw in a 14-legger parlay.
And he hit, of course.
He went to bed and woke up and there's $56,000 in his account. Yeah. So, yeah.
Did he walk away?
He walked away after that. He
Good
said he's still in therapy. I'm like, good for you. I mean, that's a good sign.
You're like,
from
you
God,
probably shouldn't talk to me.
God literally said, hey, we're going to toss you a nice little parlay. You wwin this, and we'll see if you're going to turn your life around. So good for him. But, all right, yeah, let's dive into it, guys. We have March Madness coming up. I mean, it's about to be pretty crazy in terms of a betting perspective, games. I know there's certain trends that Simon wants to talk about. I wonder if you're going to be on this as well. We know some people that are in the industry that are betting the underdog in every first round.
That's Matty. He was just in here.
Not just Matty, another guy too, which is crazy. But yeah, I saw it from.
That's what you're
now.
doing.
I'm still figuring out what exactly I'm gonna do. We have a research interns team from Syracuse that shout out to them. They looked into parlaying all the underdog money lines with the under 40 plus 40 units since 2013, but it relies heavily on those low seeds winning. So having them dive a little bit deeper into that, but also looking at if you martingale all of those bigger dogs. So if the 12 o'clock doesn't hit, just this is just for fun. This isn't for my clients or anything. But I martingaled the overtime in the Super Bowl 2 years ago because it hadn't happened in a certain amount of time. Cash big on the Super Bowl. This year I thought it was going to happen before. Just kind of bet it myself. Didn't happen. But yeah, Matty Betts, who was in the studio, he takes every single underdog money line. I don't think I'm going to do that specifically, but yeah, looking at underdog money line with the under points, parlay that together is profitable, but want to see where I can pick my spots more than just blindly.
Now, is that something where you have to do every one, or do you think you could do pick and choose which ones you're
I mean,
doing?
For me, it's let me throw out the 16 seeds, right? They got no shot.
Of course, but then you miss out on the. I mean, what was Princeton last year? Plus,
Princeton was a 15, I think. Yeah, but
who was it? Who won? It was
Fairleigh
FDU.
Dickinson,
Jersey,
yeah.
baby. Jersey.
Dickinson.
No, Dickinson.
I remember that.
They cash as a 6.
That's another thing. Real quick, I don't mean to change the subject. With legal sports books, if you're living in Jersey, you can't bet on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But anyway, back to
Matt's just full inside right now.
Love offshore betting.
He's gonna shed a tear and be like, "This guy just gets me."
But yeah, no, we're still looking into some systems and different things that are if I tell my clients to take it, it's 0.1 units, nothing crazy there. But for me, I just like playing around with different things and yeah, all right, if the 1240 doesn't hit, I'm just gonna blindly take the 314, double that from 250 to 500, and we'll see where it goes. If I lose money, it's a fun thing that I tried out.
Right.
But the overtime thing on the Super Bowl, I won 30 grand on that because I kept martingaling it.
Nice.
And got lucky on that. So yeah, having our research team still look into some other stuff over the next. They're working hard right now, looking into it as we move on here.
we still got time.
I want to ask you guys a quick question too,
Sure.
because I'm big into overall research. My thing is combat sports. I'll stay in my lane. I'm not going to go out and be like college, fucking start throwing college basketball picks out. That ain't me. But one thing I do when I do dive into research is where these people are, where they're training, what they do, who they are as a person. I do a whole data analysis. Now, I feel like it's very, very risky with college kids. Just because you're relying on an 18-year-old who's currently, who knows, at a big school, big name. They could be playing in Miami one night. They could be going out. We don't know. So there's so many, things that could play a factor in these games that no one knows about. So it's how do you feel betting on a team that's just like, I don't know what the hell this 18-year-old kid is going? He's still hitting puberty. But, like, that's why it's so...
I got an easy answer for that.
I have a great answer, too.
No,
I want to hear his
I'm
first.
alley-and-oop you guys right
No,
here.
mine is easy. It's the coaching. I mean, you got to look at the coaching. Like, we have Patino could play either Bill Self or Calipari in the second round, which would be a great matchup.
Give me Patino,
I think
baby.
he loves Rick
Give me the
Pitino.
fucking Godfather.
He loves him. Tell the camera, man.
Give me the Godfather, baby. I'm so ready for New York to just like have something to cheer about. Even though I'm a Boston sports fan, and I fucking hate New York. No issues with their
But
colleges.
You are the most confusing guy saying all this with Mets, Miami.
He's all over the place. But yeah, I mean,
I love it.
we look at
Huge
some
Boston.
teams like I think McNeese has like Will Wade, who was at like the coaching. I mean, yeah, they're 18-year-old kids. Like, it's funny they're gonna not funny, but like they're gonna lose you money because they've missed free throws or things that professionals
The
wouldn't do.
coaching and the program for college sports. So
Yeah.
you look at the program. So even though, like with a Duke, Coach K is gone, but they have another guy in there. He's at the helm, and it's still Duke basketball. So to me, it's all about the program with college. But what you were saying, as far as players going out, being out of control, that's more for pro sports because they have a lot more freedom. They're grown men, and they make a salary, and they can
More money.
really do what they want at the end of the day. Maybe not the same curfew, all that stuff. They're not under curfew every single night. These players playing in the tournament, they're going to be part of a strict regimen, their hotel rooms. They're going to make sure they don't smell any weed in the hotel rooms. I don't know if you guys ever saw Coach Prime yelling at his guys saying, if I smell anything, you're off the team, like talking about when they travel.
yeah.
So I think with college, it's about the coach and the program and controlling these young kids and keeping them in
What
line.
about schools that have a lot of seniors and especially graduates from the COVID stuff? What do you think about those type of schools in this tournament in general?
I actually have one of my picks is based on that. Is based on that. Just one team has a lot more experience than the other.
Excited to hear who this team is.
You're not going to see that much anymore. Like especially with football, you see like quarterbacks that have been there for 7 years, like 25-year-old quarterbacks and stuff. So that's obviously going to fade away. I'm not looking too much into that, but I do have one game that I'm basing my pick on experience versus inexperience.
Well, I think we should dive into it, guys.
Yeah,
Then
what's that pick, or is that not a freebie?
Well, no. I was gonna say in terms of picks, or do you want to start off and start with the first rounds that are gonna be today?
I was actually going to start off with a general topic that all four of us can. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but favorites last year, 58%, most profitable since 2008. The top three seeds dominated, best, like all these crazy. Do we think the books are going to bounce back with a vengeance because football season was terrible and last March Madness? This is the next big event. I think the books are going to
I
have.
fucking hope so. I fade the public all day. I need it.
I have a little bit of a different theory. My theory is that the public loves picking underdogs in this tournament. Not so much in the NFL, not so much in college football, but if you look at a lot of the betting splits, there's a lot of dogs that the public is on pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Including one of my favorite dogs. I'll just give it out now.
I love Michigan?
No, UC San Diego.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Number one team or top 5 team against the spread all year long. And first half, too. Their first half, they crush it. So I like UC San Diego in this game, but like 70% of the public's on it on most books. So it's kind of worries me on that one.
Did you watch the Big Ten tournament, though?
I did. I know Michigan's rolling right now. I get it, but
They
for me,
got that tournament experience.
Well, I'm not
with the
talking about money line. I'm talking about the spread.
2.5. It's set right now.
I think it's 4. I could be
Did
wrong.
it move?
bounced out.
Look at everyone.
Yes.
Everyone just immediately
Yeah, it is.
goes
It's 4.
to
It's
check
4.5.
the spread.
4.5.
Oh no,
right?
No, it's 3.
Oh man,
It's 3. Yeah, I'm looking at Heritage, Bovada. Those are
know, I
all
was
your
gonna
spots right there.
He's just swiping through the.
I don't
books.
even like them.
BetOnline.ag.
Oh man, but no, that one should be interesting. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. This is people love betting on the dogs for this tournament. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think it will bounce back more to. I mean, we're getting records. Favorites went 6-1 against the spread in the Elite 8 or later. Best mark since 1981. They're probably not going to get that again. It's been
The interesting thing too about favorites is like there are some games where the lower seed is a dog, right? So when you say favorite, are you just talking about seeding it specifically, or the actual point
against the spread.
Against the
Yeah,
spread.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
So listen, overall in this tournament, I hate to say, I was actually looking at it last night and I was like, damn it, but I love the chalk. Like, I love the chalky picks in this tournament. I love the big dogs. I really do. I just feel like they've been so powerful this year. Love Auburn, love Florida, love Houston.
A lot of people are tailing Florida to win this championship.
They've been hot.
Talking to a lot of different people in the space, and a lot of people
made a lot of money if you bet Florida all year.
Yeah.
You made a lot of money.
Yeah. What's your favorite, Simon?
Well, I wanted to dive into the regions and.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's dive into let's dive into the region. I mean, I just kind of gave away that I currently have Florida sitting at plus 350 to win the whole
Our boy
thing.
Gino,
It's fine. Whatever.
Gino had Florida last 2 weeks ago.
I laid some chalk on Florida plus 350. I think it went down a little bit. I think it's like plus 275 now. I could be wrong, but anyway, let's dive into the region. So, I mean, it's starting today. This will, by the time we talk about at least today's games, they'll already be finished. So, let's start at the West region. Simon, you're a big West guy. You love the Rams, clearly. So
I'm pulling up the bracket here. This is Matt's favorite part of the bracket because St. John's is in it. And let's actually lead with that. I'd love to hear St. John's, assuming they beat Omaha, they'll either play Kansas or Arkansas. Amazing coach matchup. What do you think about that kind of potential there?
I 100% have a Calipari and Patino.
Oh, little parlay?
Well, no. I have them playing each other in the second round. 100%. I have St. John's coming out of that game, though.
How far do you have them making it?
St. John's, I have them going up against Florida and losing in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
So real chalky. Any dogs you like in this region?
I have Grand Canyon beating Maryland.
Wow.
13 beating a 4 there. And that's pretty much... Oh, I have Drake beating Missouri as well. I love Drake. And not the rapper. I don't like the rapper, but I've been tailing...
Yeah, that spread's pretty tight in that game.
Exactly. And that's something you look for. You know, it's a good upset spot. When you look for a tight spread like that in an 11-6 or a 12-5, I like that for a nice upset spot. So those are my two upsets right there.
What do you think of the potential of back-to-back defending champ guys? UConn, if they win, they play Florida in the second round.
Yeah, I think Florida takes it, man. I mean, UConn's going to beat Oklahoma right now. They're at a minus 210 to beat Oklahoma.
Minus 210, holy shit.
Yeah, so we double that down?
I don't know. UConn doesn't really move any needles for me this year.
No,
you're not going to. I mean, you got to give the coaching here.
They don't. They don't have the team they had the last couple of years. But I don't think Dan Hurley gets beat in the first round.
No, not in the first round. But I don't. I mean, literally, I just am only giving them any type of respect this year because of their coach. That is it. They don't move any needles for me like they have the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'm liking this Drake as well.
I also like the Grand Canyon beat Maryland. I like that. Plus 400 right now. That's great money.
I also have
and the spread is plus 10 too.
Let me check the line here.
Is this the West region?
Here's a little plussy plus.
Oh no, here we go. The plussy plus.
Grand Canyon plus 900 to reach the Sweet 16. You know, you have Memphis and Colorado State playing each other. Neither of those two teams really do it for me. And that's a team. Grand Canyon is an old team. Talk about the COVID years and old teams. Grand Canyon's an old team with a lot of veteran experience, and I see them going. I mean, listen, are they going to go for sure? Probably not, but at plus 900, I think there's a lot of expected value there. Good EV there.
I like that. And on top of that, too, Memphis is currently sitting as a dog right now against Colorado State at a 12 seed.
They are. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where you could have a lower seed. That's the dog. Listen, that game could go either way. I put Memphis on the bracket, but I could easily see Colorado State winning that game also.
I'm liking your Drake. I'm reading a little bit more. It won 18 of the last 19.
Yeah, Drake's been so
number
hot.
1 in the country in steal percentage, 46th in the Ken Palm for defensive efficiency.
I made a lot of money in February and the first half of March on Drake for sure.
Hey, we'll tail it.
He's currently putting in bets as we speak.
100%.
Who do we? All right, so who do we like? Everybody like
East?
Florida coming out of the region.
I like Florida coming out.
He's gonna say St. John's.
I mean, I want it to be St. John's.
The
just for
Johnnies.
the Godfather, baby. That's it. I want him wearing that white suit walking into the Sweet 16.
If they win it, will you get a tattoo saying the Godfather?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Don't you still owe us a tattoo?
No, that was Blay.
Rip Blay.
All right. Well, I think we're all. I'll go Florida in that region. I think St. John's is going to get eliminated earlier than you're thinking, but let's dive into that.
Yeah, let's go to the East now. We got some good ones in the East.
Oh, I just saw the Dukies.
Really?
Not a huge fan. Yeah, I was at the ACC tournament.
Oh, yeah, you were there, yeah.
I saw when Cooper Flag got injured. I went to that game.
In the wheelchair. That was a scary sight.
They did not have a good first half, and I didn't like what I saw from them. They came out in the second half and played well, but I think Alabama and Wisconsin. I like both of those actually more than Duke. You got Cooper Flag, but he's not going to be 100%. And Wisconsin, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Big Ten tournament with Tanjay, but even when he didn't play well, I'm a big Tanjay guy now.
Well, Duke's really rolling the dice playing because they announced they're playing Cooper Flag in the first round, and like, do they really need to? You know what I mean? Like,
they don't.
Why not rest him one more day? But yeah, I mean, I think Bama can beat. I have Bama beating Duke, but I think Arizona could beat Duke. I have Arizona going, and I think they could beat Duke. I mean, that would not surprise me at all.
What do you think about Wisconsin?
I think they've been hot. I see you like the hot team. You like the teams coming into the tournament hot, and I don't disagree with that at all. But I think things kind of reset because, like, yeah, these teams have been hot, but now they all have a cool down period.
Yeah.
So that momentum that they had, maybe it kind of all evens out.
And maybe it shifted after the Michigan loss as well.
Right.
So maybe that toned them down a little bit because you were big on the Michigan. I took Michigan at plus 250 live, and I was like, there's something weird about this game where you see the shift, and Tanjay wasn't performing at his best. And I was like, he's the X factor in this game.
These guys were playing like 4 straight days, so
it's nuts.
You could definitely see the fatigue coming into that Big Ten championship.
That's why I don't put much stock into what happens in those tournaments. I mean, it's like you said, it's just like 4 days in a row. Some teams, I mean, UNC almost beat Duke, obviously without Cooper Flag. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Speaking of UNC, don't want to get too off topic. What's your take on that? Give it to me straight. Don't hold back.
I mean, listen, I think it was a great game. I think they lose in the first round to Ole Miss. I think
you think
they do
should
win
be
tonight.
In the tournament?
I'm big on nostalgia.
Okay.
And names and stuff like that, so it doesn't bother me.
It's a TV show.
Exactly.
I want the big brand. Who cares about West Virginia or wherever else they were looking at?
They're a big brand. I don't mind seeing them in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question for this kind of region, and we didn't really talk about it yet. What are your thoughts on looking at the free throw percentage stats for March Madness? Is it a factor? Is it not, do you think?
I think it is. I think you have to look at what the other team is like. Is the other team a team that's heavy on fouls? But, I mean, overall, the free throw percentage in college basketball is pretty low compared to what it should be, the NBA. And, you know, you have certain players like when I was watching the Duke game, Con Knipper, great name.
Is it? I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
I'm pretty sure it's Con Knipper.
I thought it was Knipple. I don't even know.
Maybe it's
very
confusing. Oh, Con Knibble. That's what it
sounds
is.
like.
It's very confusing.
The P's are pronounced as B's.
He actually won me a -6.5 live bet on hitting 2 free throws at the end of the Duke Georgia Tech game.
Well,
I bet it live. I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. And then he at the end.
That's what I was gonna say. So like he has like a 93% free throw percentage. So you know, at the end of the day, like there's certain
Wisconsin's
players.
a very good free throw shooting team, and so is VCU. They hit it over 75% as a team, so that'll be an interesting one for this region. Who do you got coming out of this region, though? You said Bama?
The East, I have Bama.
Okay.
I like Bama.
Yeah, I'm going to side with Bama there. I don't like Duke.
Don't lie, you want Wisconsin. You're a big Wisconsin guy.
No, my buddy went to Wisconsin. I root for
That's why I
you.
do it.
But you know, you still got Nate Oates, and he's had a really good March Madness, or not March Madness. Yeah, March Madness history, and then you have Sears and Nelson, some of the older guys there. So. Liking them, but yeah, I think Duke gets bounced a little bit earlier than people expect. But in the other 2 regions, I'll talk about the 1 seeds that I actually like.
Yeah, let's talk to the South region now. I mean, I don't know. I don't like Michigan State, to be honest with you, against Bryant. I don't know why.
Oh no, I do. I mean, it's also Tom.
So I was going to say that goes back to
Yeah.
betting on coaches and programs.
Yep.
I'm not betting against Tom Izzo the first
We
round.
tried doing that against Kansas State a couple years ago. And
Yeah,
got
like
I know. That's
Matt and I remember that game well.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean I'm going to bet Michigan State on the spread because obviously it's going to be a really large spread.
it's
but
minus 17 and a half.
I have one big spread that I love in this first round. That I love.
In the South? Or specifically
No.
in general, which is
In
it
the
Midwest?
Midwest.
All right, we'll get to it. We're going to dive Midwest
Actually,
because I think that's his favorite as well.
But
right
typically,
Oh, that's my favorite region, the Midwest.
now.
Actually,
that's why it's
All right,
last.
let's wrap up this South
wrap.
region.
You're like, all right, whatever. Yale sucks. I mean,
I'm fading the UC San Diego.
it's a very public underdog. It's a very public underdog. It's like probably the
You know what? The thing I like about Michigan is their head coach and his experience in this tournament, going in the Final Four with FAU, and then they have gold in there. So I like that about him. I think it'll be a close game though. I still have some reading up to do on UC San Diego.
do you like anyone in the South region?
as far as coming out. I have Auburn coming out. I mean, they were pretty much the best team all year for most of the year. They obviously hit some speed bumps in the end of the year. But I love the SEC. As my bracket has 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams SEC.
Wow.
I mean, they did set a record this year, so.
Yeah.
So you have Auburn going out?
I have Auburn, yep.
I'm aligned with Auburn.
Auburn? All right. Fuck the South. Let's go to the Midwest.
I think Iowa State's going to get bounced early. I think their best or second best player is out.
I have them getting bounced in the second round against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
SEC, baby, all the way.
SEC, all right.
I like it. All right, let's go to the most exciting region, the Midwest. So you said you have a play or you have a pick.
Yeah.
What are you liking here in the Midwest?
I'm looking at this Tennessee Wofford game, and let me give you some numbers. So Wofford shoots 34% from the 3-point line, which is not fantastic, but they shoot a lot of threes. So they shoot and miss a lot of threes, and Tennessee has the number 1 3-point defense in the country. That's something that I eyeballed, and because of that, I usually stay away from these massive spreads, but because of that, I'm rolling with Tennessee in this matchup right here.
Wow.
With
is
the
that spread
spread,
at?
minus 19.
I put it in at 18.5.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember
bump it up.
Wofford a couple of years ago. They won like 2 games with that guy Fletcher McGee, that 3-point
Yep.
shooter. I guess they're still a 3-point
They're a
shooting team.
3-point shooting team.
But no, Tennessee.
And that goes back to programs and coaches. Like if a program and a coach wants something a certain way, that's just how the team's going to do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'll tail that one.
What are you liking here, Simon?
I'm not a fan of Kentucky in this region. I like the 1 and 2 seeds, but Kentucky I think is going to get. I'm looking at who their matchup would be. Troy, if they win that, Illinois, I could see them losing to Illinois. I don't really see them. They lost to the 14 seed last year, Oakland.
So
Kentucky.
I actually went out on a limb, and I have Xavier beating Texas in the game, and then I have Xavier beating Illinois.
Wow.
You love the Big Ten. I'm getting a vibe that you really
I think because
like.
I watched most of their tournament, and I'm a big like CBS guy with the broadcasting team. A lot more energy than ESPN. So yeah, I think I just got really into it.
Because the way you love the Big Ten is how I love the SEC, especially in
Well,
college
there's
football.
more
but-
teams.
Of
Well,
course,
speaking of the SEC, big question here. So Houston, I like them coming out of this region. I know they're 1, but the coaching, a lot of guys with experience, they're always in the tournament.
Their
defense
is lights out.
Um,
I have them winning it all. I have Houston going. all
they've
the way.
been so close, and I've like picked them before. But my question to you is your thoughts on that Gonzaga Georgia game, because Gonzaga, all the history they've been in the Sweet 16. Mark Few, Georgia, you're an SEC guy. I want to hear your opinion on this Georgia game.
That's the one. I haven't done a deep dive into this game,
Yeah.
but my glance on it, I have Gonzaga coming out because, like you said, the program, right? So Georgia, when it comes to college basketball, they're not Gonzaga.
But they played tougher competition all year.
They do. They're quad 1. I mean, listen, they play a lot of quad 1 because they're in the SEC, so they're playing great teams. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the program. I'm going with the history of Gonzaga.
You think Gonzaga keeps it close if they win that against Houston?
No.
Wow.
I have Houston dominating teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going off of that region, the Clemson played McNeese. Have you guys seen that guy sign an NIL deal, their manager or whatever?
No.
Amir Khan or something?
Amir, that's a boxer.
Well, I don't know his name, but yeah, the McNeese State guy was like carrying around like a boom box, and he got like all famous. He signed an NIL deal. He was a
Really?
student manager. Yeah, very
Good for
interesting
him.
story.
Good for I was gonna say good.
You'll
for him.
see him during that game. Trust me, they're like
Yeah.
hyping him up. But Clemson, they had a really good run last year. Purdue, I feel like has been terrible in the tournament. Like, could they lose to High Point? Who has like never? I don't remember High Point ever being in the tournament.
I have no idea. I haven't looked into that game. I don't even know, like, I've never even like looked at a High Point game before this tournament. So, and I'm a small school guy. Like, I like Drake. I love Drake. I've been betting on Drake for the last like 3 years now. But High Point's not a team that I have any information on.
They're North Carolina, right?
Great question.
Yes, my buddy went to school there. He ran
Their
he posted. I was like, "That's
their
hype,
colors
bro.
are purple and black. Actually, they're very small.
Yeah, they haven't. They transitioned from Division II in 1999.
That's what it was.
Yeah, they got some second among all teams in raw offensive efficiency behind only Duke. But their defense is terrible.
But that's raw. That's raw, not adjusted.
Yeah.
Big difference because raw doesn't take into account who you're playing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting. And then we got Kentucky without, Coach Calipari.
Yeah.
I don't know. First year.
I have
coach, really?
Kentucky beating Tennessee, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
I just think Tennessee's been faltering. I mean, yeah, their defense is great, but I don't know if Tennessee has the offensive firepower.
Did they play Duke or who did they play in the tournament? Was it last year they played Duke? And they were like they could not score at all. They lost.
I don't
may have been
remember.
2 years ago against Duke, but yeah, they played them in that game. But yeah, out of this region, Houston. I'm with you on Houston for sure. Out of this region, but I like Tennessee over Kentucky. I don't even think Kentucky's going to make it that far. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Who do you think's beating them? Illinois?
I
Of
think
course, the Big Ten.
Big Ten SEC. We should do a little friendly wager on
Right?
who's going to go further.
Who's going to get more?
SEC
Well,
Big Ten.
All right.
SEC has a
the thing is, I'm
big
already at an advantage because the SEC. So the record before this year, I think, was 13.
What if we just did against the spread though?
Okay.
We could
talk,
do
Let's
that.
talk about it after the show.
All right. I want a little friendly wager going on.
Sometimes it's nice to go against your friends and not the sports book. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But so you have Houston as well from this region.
Yeah.
So
You have Houston winning it all.
I have Houston winning it all. I've had them winning it all for
I
the
was
last
gonna say-
2 months. I haven't. And once you're on something for that long, you
Oh,
can't
you're going to
just,
stay on it.
You can't just change like this late in the game.
yep.
They still have Cryer, right? Cryer.
Yeah.
And who's the big guy? The lefty. I'll
Start typing, baby. Get in there.
Yeah,
Get in the
you
lab.
lost.
Look
You
at those
lost.
fingers go.
Houston's big man.
Oh, Francis. They got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, and one other thing that I'll do is I'll wait until tomorrow and then I'll look at like major injuries. Like obviously it was announced today or yesterday that Cooper Flag is going to be playing the first
Which
game.
is crazy. I completely
Which I think is
disagree.
so
Yeah.
stupid. But tomorrow I'll look deeper into injuries and maybe some things change. If I look and see that someone's going to be out or something like that. The way I look at it is like there's no need to look at that on a Monday or a Tuesday. Wait as long as you possibly can and then look at are there going to be players out.
What's your advice for people that we're all preparing right for Thursday, Friday, but then we have matchups that will be Saturday, Sunday, and not as much prep time. Like, how do you go about?
Coffee and Adderall. No, I'm just kidding.
But like, how do you recommend for more of the casual that's not like paying for our services to, they're putting all this time, right? They look at this Gonzaga game, but then Gonzaga's playing another game this weekend, so the matchups kind of come together a lot quicker than they are right now, and you have 4 days to really research.
I would say just look at it the same way you do a normal game, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at a normal game, the lines don't come out until late the night before or early that morning. You're probably not betting games ahead of time. You're probably betting them the same day. So I would say just treat it like a normal game. Wake up early. Don't stay up all night. It's a weekend, but if you're really going to be serious about betting on these Saturday and Sunday games, and you really want to do it the right way, get some rest, wake up early, have some coffee, and get to work.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
So real quick, who do you have? And I know we're going past the Elite Eight, the Final Four. Who do you have in the finals? I know you said you have Houston. Who do you have on the
Auburn
other
and
side?
Houston.
Auburn, Houston.
I like that.
Who do you have, Simon? You haven't even dove that quick.
I'm gonna go Florida, Houston.
Florida, Houston. Okay. I have Florida. I like Houston though. I mean,
I'm gonna go with
We'll
your SEC to win it though.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, I have to the way Florida has lit it up they've been good all year, but they've been really good the last month. And I might I want it, but I just can't switch. I have to.
I mean, who else is coming out of this region? Like St. John's? Come on.
Give me the Godfather.
They have a crew. They could potentially have a nice cruise besides the St.
Give me the
John's
Godfather.
matchup.
Yeah, then the Godfather's got to play fucking Kansas or Arkansas in the second round and might get fucking bounced.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they might.
The Godfather's going to make it. He'll win one game. All right?
Why would they match up these coaches in the same? This is for TV eyeballs.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I think it's a gift. I think it's a gift from the college basketball gods.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting.
Let's enjoy.
Let's assume if St. John's beats Omaha, I goddamn hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to hope that and we have to assume that Arkansas beats Kansas. But I think
you really don't like Bill Self. You're not
all day. This is like
Calipari.
I have it. I've been looking at this little section on the bottom left-hand corner of my bracket.
Calipari. All right, fuck it. I'm rooting for Arkansas in that game. Calipari versus the Godfather. We're not even gonna call him by his name.
Plus SEC.
Yeah, we'll see how everything plays
I might start liking Maryland now. Illinois is pretty good. Who else we got?
Yeah, all right.
Wisconsin. Wisconsin to the Final Four in the Dukes region.
These are all wagers you guys could do off of camera.
John Tanjay. Great player.
He loves them. But we're winding down at the end of our show. I know we could talk another hour, possibly 2 to 3, 4. Who knows? But is there any final closing words for you, Teddy? Anything in terms of the tournament, yourself, with Sports Profits? Anything you want to let our audience know?
Follow whoever you're using, whether you're using me, whether you're using these fine gentlemen right here. Try to really follow what we say. Don't just take our picks and do your own thing with it. I know you guys were saying you use a unit system, and a lot of people don't follow along with it, including you back in the day. But
we've changed him a little bit. He's still doing his part.
I would say, like, if you're going to pay for a system, follow the system. Otherwise, just do it on your own.
Perfect.
Don't just pay for picks.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you, Teddy Brooks from the Sports Profits, for coming
Absolutely.
here. I know we'll probably end up having another crossover to talk more about the March Madness because it's going to be pretty crazy. So we'll see if these.
I could sit here all day. I mean, I'm actually going to be here for another hour.
You're about to dive into it again. So no, but we appreciate you coming on the MVP show, brother. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice meeting you as well. And I'm sure we'll do another crossover. But
Glad
guys,
to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of it, and give them a follow. We'll have another crossover soon. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week after this crazy March Madness.
St. John's.
SEC.